we all die. And I think this is one of the, it's kind of sad that people don't talk about death, because we won't talk about that, not yet. But we're all going to die. And I think it's a good thing to be aware of that and ready for it. I think my children complain that I talk about death too much. But I feel it's a good thing to talk about it, because it's obviously going to happen. I can remember being frightened of it when I was a little girl. I said to my mum, I'm afraid of dying. And she said, so was I once, but here I still am. Which was very comforting. And then when my father died, that was a big, because then I realised I was the next generation. And in those days, because we didn't fly, we went in ferries. They lived in Scotland at that time. And I remember standing on the ferry, dark, standing on the deck, and thinking, world has changed for me. I'm very happy to be living in Clonakilty. I did a lot launching fair trade thing in Clon, which was great fun. Now, when I can walk into town, which I can't do very well now, people greet me by name, and I do like that. Well, I feel pretty alive still. I love gardening, and that's one thing that's very sad. I can do so little now. Yeah. I try and go out for half an hour every afternoon, but by the end of the half hour, I'm exhausted. Oh, I love getting my hands in the earth. I never wear gloves. People keep giving me gloves, and I notice I take them off, put them down. I like to have dirt under my fingernails. I suppose it's something very basic. The width of life is more important than its length. Of course, hopefully you can have both. A long and happy and busy life, which I really think I've had. I mean, I know it's been long, and parts of it have been busy, and parts have been happy, and of course there's also been sad times. I have everything in a folder with written on it for when I die, so my children can open it up and they say, there is everything. This is what I want. And please, as much as possible, let's go that way, the way that I would like to, not the way that you think is good for me, but the way that I would like things to go. I want to die at home. I would like my family around me. I'd like to be comfortable. I certainly don't want to die in a hospital. Well, the best of all, if I just died in the night. I'm talking about myself. But I think to be comfortable, to have your family around you, to be as unafraid as possible, because none of us know what happens after we're dead, if anything, to get a chance to say goodbye and just go, you know. There's this, I think this sounds lovely way of dying. There's this book, The Farm by Loch Gur, and there's a scene in it where someone is dying and they're lying in their bed, I presume, in the middle of the room, and their children are lying sleeping around them. They're all sleeping. And I just thought, what a lovely way to go. So peaceful. No professionals, just the people who cared. You could fall down dead tomorrow. And all the time say, oh, as you're dying, oh, I wish I had asked them to do this, had arranged that. And it's too late. It's very easy to say, oh, I'll do that next year. There might not be a next year. Yes, honesty, I think, is hugely important, but it is not easy. There's often, because we are so afraid of hurting people. But if you can be honest, you know, especially about feelings and things like that. Can I tell you about my mother's death? Because that was a very bad death. Well, for me, it was a very sad occasion. I knew she was dying, and I went over to Scotland to see her. And the doctor said, I think she should go to hospital and they'll get her pills in right order and things like that. So she went to hospital. She signed herself out of hospital. We went and collected her. I had to cancel my flight back to Ireland, which didn't please me very much. Anyhow, I went to say goodbye to her. And she said, I suppose, Jennifer, you will put Brian, that's my husband, in an old people's home like you did me. And I lost it with her. First time in my life, Paul, I lost it with her. And that was the last time I saw her. No, I did see her the next morning. She turned her head away and said, don't bother coming back. And it was, I could cry about it now. It was just so sad. And in a way, Paul, I kind of blame myself, because for most of my life I did what my mother told me. I was a good daughter. And if I had spoken up a bit more about my own needs and my own thoughts, perhaps at the end might have been better. But it's my example of a really tragic end. And the very thing I don't want with my children. I do want to be prepared. So I suppose about the time I moved to this house, I had everybody here, which is unusual, my 6 children, and we went round the family, each choosing something that they would like to have when I die. I did get my coffin made, as you know, so I'm ready there. I thought of that after I'd paid for Brian's funeral, which I was shocked how expensive it was. How expensive the coffin was going to be buried in the ground. So I thought, someone made this table for me, and I thought, well, he could make me a coffin. And he said he would. He was a bit surprised to be asked. And I lay down on the rug in the sitting room, and he measured me, and he went away and he made me a coffin. He kept it in his workshop until he had to close his workshop, but then it came and lives here, waiting patiently for me. Anyhow, I'm leaving the funeral up to Andrew. That's my son. I don't want him to say she died at 88. I would like him to say she lived until she was 88. Because it does mean that I managed to live all my life. And that I lived, I didn't just exist. I'd like to think that's how life was for me.